Hiya, it's Mr. Mika. Again, had to make you guys wait. At this point, I'm as reliable as your father coming to see you on your birthday, so I'll spare you the same song and dance that we've been having for a while, and just jump right into the topic of today. That being Plants vs. Zombies, more specifically, the Garden Warfare games, even more specifically, how awful the Battle for Neighborville was, and how simple it could have been to fix it, because the Battle for Neighborville we got is less active than Garden Warfare 2, a game that came out 8 years ago. To put this in perspective, Garden Warfare 1, a game that would have been 2 days from being 2 years old at time of release, while still active at the time, had the expected outcome of having its players move to Garden Warfare 2. You want to know why? I'll give you it. Because they didn't mess around. They took what worked, which was basically Team Fortress 2, but with a Plants vs. Zombies skin and cool variants, what made it stand out, by the way, and built on it, like what smart companies do. EA and PopCap. Seriously, with how much of a fuck about the Neighborville was, you would think that the teams that EA and PopCap or even go a place with bomb-eyed fish or the bomb-eyes themselves. But back on topic, could have they done what could have they done to make the game good? Because if we ignore the fat, pyrocynical, approved-sized elephant in the room, there's actually traces of a good game here. As I really love the lobby, for example. Minus that's always online. And the jumper finally getting some sort of long-range attack is nice. The problem is that the elephant is too big to be ignored because the main complaint is that there's no variance, unlike the last two games, which all of these games had releases on the Xbox One. No, I will not bring up the 360 release of Gone for One. Like, honestly, is in the little office or whatever, they must have been like, you know what, we're making way too much money on third person shooters of Plants vs Zombies is so let's make a game that has none of that. And while we're at it, let's make it the last Plants vs Zombies third person shooter game we ever make. And calling it Gone for free. That makes sense. Honestly, it's stupid. Like 10-year-old me can make game ideas for the next game, and that kid thought it was for a good area for a T-shirt would be to mash it with a sunflower and make it legendary. Then again, when the first game has Chester Chomper, anything's possible. But back to Battle for Neighborville. Apart from that big complaint, I feel like Keisha could have had a new ability, since in this game, everyone can sprint, not just Pikachu and Citron. So instead of making its hyper ability just super jump key, we could have had a giant pea shoot out of his mouth like how Repeater has one at the end of his plant food effect in Plants vs Zombies 2, or give him a spike weed, or make it so that he can heal himself back up to 30 points or something, or literally anything other than and keeping it the same. And before people say that they couldn't have done that, they've done it with the engineer. In Garden Warfare 1, he had a Zombot drone. In Garden Warfare 2, it got replaced with a big bolt blaster, since Captain Deadbeard has a parrot, which is also a drone. But instead, Key Shooter just became a pile of dog shit. Oh, how legends fall from grace. Another thing I would like to point out, the art style. If you have a keen eye like me, you'll notice that in each Garden Warfare game, they get less and less detailed and more cartoony. A great way to tell is from the differences of Plasma P. In Garden Warfare 1, he looked a lot more bright and energized than in Garden Warfare 2. But from the two games, they still look similar, and they still look like they're from the same franchise. Then Battle for Neighborville came along. What the fuck did they do to Pea Shooter? His head looked more in line with a goddamn brickhead zombie than with any of his fellow plants. The PvZ franchise as a whole doesn't really stick with an art style, and Plants vs. Zombies 1 and Plants vs. Zombies 2 are great examples. But at least you could say that it was done to make the game look more nicer than Plants vs. Zombies 1. This had no excuse. It was fine. I know I sound nitpicky, but honestly, Pichu looks hideous, on par with Glacier on his bald fucking head. And the poor bastard was one of the lucky ones. Like, for Dave's sake, the only ones that actually look good that aren't new to this game is Chomper and maybe Cactus. And and everyone else looks uncanny. Like they're made out of plasticine. And even then, that's an insult to plasticine characters. This is just bad. And it's not like the Xbox One can't handle the new stuff and the graphics, as they handled it completely fine with the other games. At least my little goober Chomper still looks good. So in conclusion, what could have been done? 1. Keep the variants. They're literally what sold the first two. 2. Give Pea Shooter a new ability like what you did in God of War 2. 3. Leave the art style alone. There's probably other stuff I'm forgetting, but I barely played Battle of Naperville before never touching it again. In fact, I played a bit during the making of this video, and even then I completely forgot any other critiques as soon as I dropped up the game. So if there's other stuff I forgot, please tell me. Anywho, this has been Mr. Meter, and now I will proceed to get married to Chester Chomper from Garden Warfare 1. What can I say? I like my men dangerously cheesy and made out of plant.
Like this, like that, like this, like that, like this, like that, like this, like that.